2001 British Superstock champion and current British Superbike rider Paul Young came along to put everyone in their place and demonstrate the difference between respectable and race speeds.
There's all sorts of little mystery tracks dotted all over Spain and France that need checking out, I think. This one's definitely worth checking out. It's pretty tight. It's very, very, very tight and pretty rough too, so it's going to be very hard work. I think it's going to be a long lap. It's 3.7 kilometres round and loads and loads and loads of second gear corners. I think it's probably only 1 or 2 third gear corners and the rest will be second gear, so it's going to be a very long lap. Just waiting for Mr. Sun to poke his head out and everyone will start smiling then. Scrubbing in all these new tyres and with a track like this, I don't think it's the job I want to be doing, so I'll let Dave do that one.
While in an attempt to give all the bikes a fair chance, Bridgestone turned up with a van crammed to the roof with their new BT 012 SS tyre. More importantly, they also supplied Neil and Steve to fit the tyres. Once the bikes were unloaded, this is what was to be put to the test. A Honda CBR 600 FS, one of the most popular bikes in the UK. In this sporty FS guise, we want to know if it deserves its place at the top of the sales charts. Honda VTR SP2, supposedly much improved when the new model was relaunched in January 2002. This litre V-twin is basically a world superbike race bike sorted for the road. But does it really work as a road bike? Honda Fireblade. Launched 10 years ago, this is the new 2002 model with a bigger engine, some chassis tweaks and revamped styling. It has to be a contender. Yamaha R1. Yet another new for 2002 4-cylinder bike. Radical styling, fuel injection and a new chassis earned its rave reviews on its launch. This is a hot favourite. Aprilia Mille RSVR. An 1000cc Italian V-twin which has legions of admirers who fall for the looks, the sound and the handling. But is it a bit too scary for Joe Average? Ducati 998S. When you think Italian, you think Ducati. New for 2002, the twin-cylinder 998 is said to have scaled new heights of handling bliss. What's it like on French B-roads melting in the summer heat? Kawasaki ZX636R. This features old-school carburettors and a cheeky big bore which raised a few eyebrows when this bike was launched at the start of 2002. An outside contender for the podium finish? Kawasaki ZX12R, a monster bike which is designed to transport you vast distances in the blink of an eye. But what's it like on a track or on nasty narrow roads? Suzuki GSX R1000. The reigning bike of the year has come under attack from Yamaha's R1 and Honda's new Fireblade. A known quantity and a serious contender. Would it see off the challenge from the newcomers? Suzuki GSX R600, one of the best 600cc sports bikes on the market and universally acclaimed. Could it sneak round the outside and trump the bigger bikes?
I've started to push it a little bit in places, but we'll see how we go. The thing is, you're pushing the front on the little bikes, and just about to start getting on the bigger bikes and see if we can push the back a bit more.
Yes, we got it!
Are you kind of sort of cracking it to get it to break loose like that? It doesn't look like it's over that.
No, just lean it over until it breaks loose and then just steer into it.
It's that simple. Oh, you see? I see what you're talking about.
Well, how did they all perform? Last place may seem very harsh on what's clearly a very good bike, but this is a tough arena and we're playing full contact. The CBR doesn't do anything badly. It doesn't even feel that slow in such bigger, faster company. The problem is that it's so well rounded, it can't cut it when pushed. Ground clearance and suspension settings are the main problem, and the boys lost so much time grinding the pegs into the floor that the CBR was the slowest bike at the track. However, it's easy to ride quickly thanks to its friendly manners and encouraging riding position, which is what the CBR is really about. It remains one of the easiest bikes on which to learn knee-down skills. The ZX12R has always been a bit of a bus and never steered as quick as the true sports bikes on this test. This new model is much better and everyone enjoyed tearing around Val de Vienne with over 163 horsepower. It's as capable of big lean angles as anything else and makes a fine alternative to a jumbo jet when you want to get to the Costa del Sol in a hurry. The main criticism is the unrewarding riding experience. It's just too big to be treated like a toy. When it came to the crunch, our boys preferred small and perfectly formed to big, big, big. So 9th place is as good as it gets for Kawasaki's Battleship. No doubt many of you are appalled at the widely worshipped Ducati finishing so far down the order. The thing is, it just doesn't feel that great in this company. Sure, the boys hustled it round the track in a pretty decent time, but it's hard work and even harder on the road. 13.5 big ones, you'd expect it to come with a personal masseuse, and you're certainly going to need one for the aches and pains you'll get after riding the 998 for more than an hour. We weren't too impressed when it spat oil out the airbox after a mere 200-yard wheelie either. That aside, this is the fastest Ducati ever and it's aged better than Eureka Johnson with an Oil of Olay sponsorship. For a bike based on the World Superbike winning machine of Colin Edwards, the SP2 is disappointing. The engine is fast but lacks mid-range, the handling is sweet but lacks ground clearance, and the build quality is impressive but it just lacks passion. The biggest complaint from the team was about the terrible throttle response at lower revs, so it only managed the 9th best lap time. On the plus side though, it's easy to get on with and you know the mirrors won't ever fall off. And our Dave reckons it's one of the best wheelie bikes out there. The revered blade sits pretty and sick, but not for the want of Honda trying harder. In fact, Honda might be trying too hard. The throttle response has crossed the line from direct to snatchy. Ground clearance again causes a problem on a Honda, and the blade could easily lap better than its 6th place with more lean available. However, the speed is there for the taking from the increased capacity 954cc engine, and the brakes are incredible. If you're into backing the underdog and can't see past Honda build quality, this is it. The ZX earns its 5th spot by being so good at everything. None of the guys expected much from it, but by the end of the test they all had a soft spot for it. It's brilliant on the road, has a reassuring presence and is easily guided around a track. The steering is light and fast, and the suspension strikes a great balance between comfort and sportiness. It comes up short on the lap times and big thrills, but more than makes up for it all by providing a big bike package for middleweight costs. By being all things to all riders, the ZX636R is a CBR 600 for the new millennium. For the uninitiated, this is the most racer-like bike money can buy, right down to the feel of the thin grips and hard seat. It reacts instantly to your input and can simply brake later, lean further and accelerate earlier than any other bike. It does everything aggressively, which makes our faster rider's choice for track thrashing. Had this circuit not had a long back straight, the Millie would certainly have posted first rather than second best lap time. For less experienced riders though, it can be a real handful, and it makes little sense if you don't ride everywhere flat out, especially on the British roads. Plus, at 10 grand, it ain't cheap, so 4th place it is. For track day addicts on a budget, this is the one. It lapped just half a second slower than the R1 despite giving away 40 horsepower. The only letdown is the brakes that need a big tug. That aside, this bike loves it. No matter how much stick we dished out, it came back begging for more. The harder our boys rode it, the more they got hooked on the induction roar as the revs kissed the limiter at 14,500 revs. The GSX-R 600 combines super fast steering with rock-like stability, and in these colours, how could you not love it? If the king is dead, this is becoming a zombie movie. It may have been edged out, but no bike that wheelies in the first 3 gears will rate badly in the Superbike book. There is still a clear power advantage, and the handling, while not as instinctive as the R1, remains right on the pace. Its top speed of 186 miles an hour is 10 miles an hour faster than everything except for the ZX-12R, and the in-gear acceleration is devastating. It's also a complete pussycat to ride slowly. So when going large isn't enough and the boys want to pay 50p extra to go supersize, the GSX-R 1000 is what they ride. This is a bike that has made a massive leap and discovered something lacking in its closest rivals: soul. The R1 has a feel-good factor above any other bike and comes from its ability to do everything you could ask. It handles brilliantly. The heavily updated chassis uses R7 geometry and feels perfectly balanced in corners of any speed. The brakes are great and it's even comfortable for long rides. While it doesn't have the outright power of the GSX R1000, it isn't far behind and still pulls hilarious wheelies. More importantly, it set the outright fastest lap time. All these things together make it the Superbike of the Year 2002. That's all for this year. The Yamaha R1 is the new champion and has 12 months to bask in the glory until we come back to do it all again. We'll see you then.
Possibly the silliest thing I've ever done wearing a motorcycle helmet.
Oh God! It's not cold. Why you got enough fat in your body for a f***ing wheel, mate? It's bloody boiling in here. Thoroughbreds here. Lift your voices up now. Everyone lift their voices up. I'm normally a lot more muscly, you know.
What bikes? Let's go on holiday. I get my 10-metre swimming award for this.
Can't speak. Alright. Compliments to the chair. Yeah, thank you. I'm not going to heart attack.
It's all hype, yeah, it's all the same.
You got the pad?
Oh, I love that. Never got under this thing.
Eddie Roberts hunting me down.